Hey everybody, my name is Sabrina McAnally and I teach at Theodore High School. I'm a 11th and 12th grade social studies teacher, and Miss Miller asked if I would share some of my thoughts that I have learned or walked through during the coronavirus pandemic. And so I have three short things that I want to share with you guys today, and hopefully I can keep it short and simple. I'm definitely not a person of few words. I typically babble and run my mouth longer than I need to. So I'm going to try to keep this short, simple, and to the point. Okay, so let's get started. So, number one, the first thing that I have really taken away from the coronavirus situation is that people need each other. And we've been in quarantine for the last, it feels like 100 days, but quarantine or isolation, whatever you want to call it, the idea was to bring everybody apart so that this virus could not spread. But in reality, what I feel like is that it has brought the need and the idea of community so much closer and so much made it more important. And whether that's growing closer with your family at home or whether that is supporting a local business that you've never supported before, I feel like during this time of crazy uncertainty that people have realized the need for each other. I consider myself maybe like an extroverted introvert. Like I love people, but I also love being by myself. I love to socialize, but I also love the quiet. And, during this crazy period, the only option we have is to be by ourselves. And, you know, I feel like that regardless of where you fall in that category of being an extrovert or introvert, there's a common ground here that on the other side of this, everybody is wanting to get back to their people. Everybody is wanting to get back to the baseball fields, the malls, the beaches, the restaurants, or their friends or their family that they haven't been able to see. And so this time that was basically intended to make everybody stay by themselves has really shown the value and the importance of us needing one another. And I really hope on the other side of this that when we get back to our normal life or when we get back to whatever that looks like, that the one thing that we hold on to and the one thing that continues to grow is the value and the importance that we place on community and each other. Okay, number two, the second thing that I feel like I've taken from this situation is that we are all capable of adapting to change. And, I consider myself pretty optimistic. I try to take change and learn from it rather than resist it because there's some change that you really don't have any control over. And I feel like that's kind of the situation right now. During this whole pandemic, there's been so much change that has came so fast to all of us that the only option has been to adapt. And I think it has proven to me and to so many people that we can embrace change and we can learn from it and we can grow if we allow it to. And during this time, the only option has been to allow the change to happen. And, there's a old saying that's like, if it's not broke, don't fix it. A lot of people resist change for various reasons, whether it's fear, uncertainty, you know, just whatever. And, I feel like when we resist change, we resist the opportunity to grow and to become better. And this process and this period has really taught me, and it's proven to a lot of you, and you guys have proven to others that we can handle change and we can adapt and we can grow. And hopefully on the other side, we can become better because of it. And lastly, I want to talk a little bit about how this has really shifted my perspective on the day-to-day life that we've been going through. And so, our days kind of look the same, right? I told somebody the other day that, when Saturday looks the same as a Monday, that things are, things are getting a little weird and a little crazy. And so there's not a lot of variety. There's not many options that we have right now. And so it's kind of hard to differentiate between a good day and a bad day because it all looks the same, right? And so, I found myself over the last month and a half going through like, feeling like I was on a roller coaster. Like some days I'm like, oh, this is great. And then some days I feel like the walls in my house are like closing in on me, So I think that we have to look at things through a different perspective to have a different outlook on the situation. And I read somewhere one time that, or some famous person said that, when we change the way we look at things, the way that we look at things begin to change. And I feel like that is proven to be so true during a time whenever the, things that we look at look pretty much the same, but we can change the way that we look at them. And so instead of, complaining about my days looking the same, I have, shifted my perspective to being thankful for this time to be at home and, to learn and to grow and to, rest in all of the things that this season has brought. And, I found myself a little bit wanting to make sure that I'm savoring every moment here before I move on to the next moment, because over the last few weeks they've talked about opening things back up and life slowly getting back to normal. And while I want to go browse the aisles of Home Goods and Target like the rest of us, I also know that I'll probably never get this opportunity again. I mean, I hope that we don't have to another world pandemic, global pandemic that we have to walk through. And so it's, part of me is like, oh my gosh, am I savoring everything here? Am I learning everything here? Am I making the most of every moment that's been given to me? It also while wanting life to resume to normal for me and so many others as well. So I feel like that as having a shift in perspective instead of, wishing the days away rather than like embracing what we have in front of us can kind of help you see the good in the days that you're walking through that can look so similar to everything else around you. And so I want to kind of challenge you to think about what perspective you're looking at life with. Some of us are walking through some really, really tough situations. Some of us are walking through, some hard times and uncertainty. And this whole season has brought, gosh, so many emotions and presented so many problems and situations to so many that it's hard to categorize them into just one category. But I want to challenge everyone to try to think of a way to look at life at a different perspective. And I wanted to share back when I first started teaching, I committed for 1 year, every single day, I documented something good about that day. And that sounds kind of silly, but, it was really a powerful thing and really helped change my perspective on life because, in the beginning it was kind of exciting and I was able to, I found I found something good happening, for the first month or so. I was like, oh, this can be my exciting thing for the day. But, by day like 100, I was like, okay, today wasn't a good day, or whatever. There was, frustrations, or you didn't even really feel like thinking about something good happening. So something started to shift in my thinking and my outlook on life, and I started to have to look for the good rather than letting the good find me. And, sometimes the good is, it's not, doesn't have to be some like surprise party or like celebration. It can truly be something good that brought you joy in your day, and we have to be intentional about finding it. So some days that literally may mean that the sun came up this morning and I have another day to make the best of it. I remember like I started finding joy and finding happiness in such the smallest of things. And if you know me at all, like that is something that has stuck with me through the years, is that the small things in life are truly, truly the best things for me. Whether that's, you know, getting an ice cold Coke out of the Coke machine whenever it could have been, just a little bit cold, or whether that is a, beautiful Saturday instead of it being rainy. So I literally try to find the good in the smallest of things, because those are the things that make me smile. Those are the things that make me happy. And I know that there's something good in every day if I look for it. And I am the only one that gets to choose if I find it. And so I want to encourage you to do that. Start today. I want you to find the good, something good that you have seen throughout the day, that has happened, whatever. And I want you to share it with somebody. I want you to put it on social media. I want you to share it with your family and maybe challenge them to do the same. Because when we, remember, when we change the way we look at things, the way that we look at things start to change. And there's good all around us, even in hardships, even in uncertainty, even in failures and trauma and terrible situations. There's something good for us to see, and there's something good for us to enjoy. And like I said, some days it's hard, and some days we're not going to find it because we're not perfect. But the sun coming up tomorrow is just a powerful reminder that every day is a new day for us to find the good, enjoy the small things, look at life through a new perspective, embrace the community around us, adapt to the change that's presented to us, and truly make the best out of the situation we're in. I hope you guys are doing well. I miss everyone so much. I can't wait to see you all back at school. And take care, and y'all have a good afternoon. Bye.